Mary, good morning, good morning, good morning. A little bit of a delayed broadcast this morning because obviously by the time I finished last night in Magdalena's, it was, I didn't get home till well after about, 20 past 4 in the morning after sorting everything out up at Magdalena's. What a fantastic welcome back last night it was. We were absolutely packed last night. I wish I took some footage of how we were doing last night, but unfortunately just so busy. If anybody took any video clips of yesterday evening at Magdalena's, please stick them up on our social media. Like to see back everything that went on last night. But once again, so pleased that we were back to work, turning and burning. The atmosphere in the place last night was absolutely electric. Some fabulous singers, some really nice, fabulous singers. A few familiar faces returning as well. I'd like to say a big hello to Lorraine. She's a lady who's on Spotify and also on YouTube as well. She has a new single out, she told me as well. So at the moment, I'm going to try and download that and if possible, play it as well. So all in all, last night was absolutely kicking where we were. I couldn't have asked for more. Can I also say thank you to all those people who tuned in online yesterday onto beatsradio.co.uk for the dance anthem shows. I had a quick peek in while everything was going on just to see what was happening in the chat area. Can I say again, thank you for the comments on the music yesterday in that location. That was recorded, that show, as we were told last week that we were going into lockdown. In the early hours of this morning, we recorded the dance anthem shows for next week. And I've got to be honest, the music last night just was so perfect. It really was just perfect. And I'm looking forward to seeing how that show is received next week. And of course, there was an added feeling of frivolity about that show because basically, we were back to work. We were back turning and burning. Well, anyway, a quick shout out to Amanda Gregory, who's tuning in at the moment. Thank you for your concise weather forecast. A little bit of cloud up in the sky, not a lot, just a wisp. The temperatures today, 33, going to feel like 37. Just to let you know, there has been reports in the Greek mainstream media that another heat wave is on the way, and it's slowly working its way across from Italy at the moment. Italy are having issues over there with excessive heat, and it's expected that we are going to get it arriving here at some point as well. So therefore, we are not out of the woods as far as fires are concerned. Once again, just to remind you that we are still a Cat 4 fire risk at the moment. Please just be very careful with what you're doing when you're out and about. Just remember there are certain areas that are cordoned off and you are not allowed in those areas, and you're specifically not allowed in certain areas after 6 o'clock at night till 6 o'clock in the morning, as you could be a potential fire risk by going into those areas. At the moment, our Zakynthos fire service at the moment are deployed to strategic points around the island, ready to nip anything in the anything in the bud if anything untoward should go on. And I've got to be honest, in comparison to a lot of places in Greece, Zakynthos has been very lucky and very fortunate at the moment. And let's pray it goes on like that as well, because the last thing we want is any major fires here on the island. We just don't need that, as our tourist season at the moment has been fragile to say the least. Right, let's just click the screen round so you can see me this morning. Looking rather windswept and interesting. Again, Jane at the moment is at the airport meeting guests, and she's got a busy day down there. The reason for that is because we've got 13 flights in from the UK. We've got 5 from Manchester. We've got 5 from London, 1 from Manchester, East Midlands, Birmingham, Newcastle, Bristol, and also Leeds as well throughout the day. So the Brits really are starting to arrive now. Not sure how full the aircraft are, but it's a good thing. And last night, obviously, the British presence could be felt along with the Irish presence as well, which was really quite nice in Magdalena's, and it just felt like old times again. Right, COVID in the last 24 hours. To be honest, infection rate is down across the country at the moment, slightly, but not by much. You might remember yesterday, 3,605 new infections across the country. Today, I can report 3,493 new infections across the country. 9 new cases were identified at checks into the country. That was down on the 14 on the previous day. Now, when it comes to the national stats of islands of interest for us here in Zakynthos, Mykonos at the moment has had 27 new infections in the last 24 hours. Rhodes has had 117. Lefkada has had 20. Corfu has had 78. Kefalonia has had 9. Now, I'm going to start doing a comparison each day on Zakynthos. Now, yesterday, Zakynthos reported 10 cases. Today's stats are now saying that there were 20 new infections on the island of Zakynthos, where I am at the moment. So that means that for positive cases since the beginning of the year, we've now had 956. In this month alone of August, we've had 189 cases for this month. Now, the reason I'm going to start doing that is I'm going to do a comparison between each day, is because our epidemiology is the reason why we got put into restrictive measures. And again, it'd just be interesting just to follow what's going on in the way of our epidemiology. I'd love to know where all these people are. That's the first thing, because that was the reason we went into special measures. Anyway, when it comes to deaths across Greece at the moment from COVID-19, unfortunately, we've had an increase in deaths. 20 reported to you on my previous report, 24 today. That brings the total since the pandemic started to 13,182. 96% of those had underlying health problems or were over the age of 70. So once again, our condolences to those families that have been affected. Now, the other case is critical cases in hospital. It looks like that those have just dropped slightly, which is good. I reported you 240 the other day. It's now dropped down to 235, 149 male and 86 female. Once again, just to remind you, the benchmark for amount of ICU beds across Greece for COVID is 900. So again, it's good to see that the number is now starting to go down, where it had been on the increase over the last few days. So again, that is a positive. Right, today's news then. As you're aware, the removal of special local measures on Zakynthos was announced officially yesterday late in the afternoon by the Member of Parliament for Zakynthos, Mr Aktypis. He posted on his Facebook. However, the police were not informed till very much later in the day as to the change of the rules, and they were still running on the policy of the action of the day before on the Thursday night, which basically said that there was an extension to the lockdown until the 18th of August. Anyway, luckily, the police were informed late in the afternoon, and they obviously changed their policing policy accordingly. So once again, we were all worried yesterday because, again, there were so many, shall we say, contradictory messages coming from one location and then from another location. But anyway, it's all been cleared up. And Mr Aktypis also made a mention on his Facebook page, because many of our fellow citizens are contacting my political office in order to be informed about the lifting of the restrictive measures. I would like to inform you that from now on, we are officially out of the special restrictions, but we must adhere to the health protocols, and good luck to everyone. So once again, yes, we are out of the restrictive measures. That means no curfew at 1 o'clock in the morning, no ban on music in bars and restaurants and obviously entertainment centres. However, we still have the restriction of no dancing, no standing, etc., and also masks and PPE to be worn by staff obviously working within the venues, etc. But at the moment, as far as we're concerned, we are not licensed for live entertainment in Magdalenas. So at the moment, it's karaoke, music video selection, and the odd recording of live music shows from my radio station back in the UK, beachradio.co.uk. So all in all, Yeah, we were still massively busy last night, and I was so pleased about that. Also, be aware at the moment there's a big celebration coming up on the 15th of August. Everybody from Athens is going to be departing out of there, basically going on their holidays. We also have the celebration of St Maria as well. That is another big celebration in August. Anyway, the police have said across the country that they are anticipating this big mass exodus from Athens. They are also preparing special plans, taking for increased measures of road safety and traffic policing for the safe movement of citizens. I'm not going to go through all of that because it is a very long list, but basically the police are going to be very active, and also we're going to expect a big influx of people here from the 15th of August. We still haven't been told as to what is going to happen regarding St Denis's, whether that is going to go ahead or not. We've still not had any confirmation on that, on the St Denis's celebrations. We did have the Macardo one, so maybe, fingers crossed, there might just be a hope that we may see some kind of panegyric take place here on Zakynthos for St Denis's. But at the moment, probably this week coming up, it will be clarified as to whether it will happen or not. Interestingly, going back to the fires, it seems the residents of Agia Marina here on Zakynthos are requesting a fire zone. Yeah, a document was sent by the local residents to the authorities requesting the creation of a fire zone so that the village was not endangered by fire. Now, expressing special interest and deep concern, the inhabitants of the community of Agia Marina in Zakynthos said that they wanted to bring up the fact that the fire zone is directly connected with the case of the historic church, which is Agia Marina, which has been characterised since 1979 as a traditional and preserved building worthy of protection from any large or small fire. So basically what they're saying, there is a protection order on their church in their village, and they would like to see that protection order basically in place because obviously they're worried about if there is a fire there, it may take time for authorities to reach them. So basically what they're saying is they want a fire zone, which I think in effect a fire zone is a kind of fire break or just a picket post location where a fire brigade can sit and wait when they raise the status of the fire alert. Anyway, they also pointed to the problem that they didn't want what happened in Macardo, where I live, where we had the Agia Marina, which church which caught fire. And they also mentioned that another place, Mati in Attica, where dozens of innocent people died, which happened only a few years ago. But they said that they would like to see that their area is protected from the ravages of any fire that may break out. Knowing the area of Agia Marina, they're very much up in the hills up there, and they're in one of those very awkward locations where I think only fire-bombing aircraft can get in, really, to basically help suppress their fire. So having a fire picket there would obviously make them feel a lot happier, and also be able to be a lot more comfortable with the way the situation is going on at the moment. Going back to the fires again, considerable firefighting forces were operating yesterday evening at scattered fire pockets in the area of Gortynia, which is the ancient Olympia site in Ilia, and also in Mani as well, all the Peloponnese, but there is no large fire front, the fire brigade said, so it's not like there's a big massive fire front moving forward. It's just pockets of fire flaring up in over areas. Now, in neighbouring Gortynia and in neighbouring prefecture of Ilia, also Pacific areas of the municipality of the ancient Olympia, Greek firefighters have been strengthened by additional forces from the European Civil Protection. 35 firefighters and 14 fire appliances from the Czech Republic have been sent there. 240 firefighters and 60 fire appliances have been sent from France. 244 firefighters and 56 fire engines from from Germany, and 40 firefighters and 13 fire engines have also been sent from Austria. They've also been given 2 water dowsing aircraft and 6 helicopters. They're also flying over these areas as well, including volunteer firefighters and local authority water trucks, while mobile centre of operations, Olympos, is also in the area as well. So they've got an actual mobile operations centre that is obviously coordinating all these pockets of fire that are springing up all over that area of the Peloponnese. Now, in eastern Mani, 40 firefighters with 15 vehicles and a ground team were assisted by Greek army and volunteer firefighters and local authority water trucks. And then another fire at the area of Darali, I think that's pronounced, in the eastern Mani, was being dealt with by 16 firefighters and 7 fire trucks, 2 helicopters, and they had to stop fighting the fire in that location after sunset, because obviously it becomes dangerous for aircraft to start flying after sunset. So again, the fires are still going at the moment here in Greece. A big wash-up is now going on about how things were handled. Interesting little article. The residents of the Greek seaside village of Rouvis mourn the loss of their paradise of pristine pine forest and family homes, which were scorched by wildfires that burned for 9 days. But they're also angry as they start to see how little has been able to have been salvaged from the fire. Now, the village, which is at the foothills of the mountain, which is on the island of Eva, which is northeast of Athens, had long been a popular retreat for Greeks and foreign tourists, with locals living off honey resin and olive oil farming as well. Anyway, the wildfires have turned the forests of that area and beehives into ashes, has burned down dozens of houses in Rovi, those on the outskirts, and dozens more across the island as well. Now, one of these homes belonged to a 72-year-old Kostas Konstantinis. He was a former pastry cook. He said there was a paradise here and now it's hell. In tears, he stood in front of his house, much of which had been destroyed by the flames. He said, "My wife and I worked hard for many years to build this so we could enjoy it in our old age, and now we must start again from the beginning." Now, in Rovis and other villages across the island of Eva, residents said the government had failed to protect their homes and the forest. The truth is that they forgot us. This was a comment from an 87-year-old Zakynthos Coldwell, who said that from the beginning the airplanes did not come and drop water to act. Kostas Thasavlos, a beach owner in Pefki on the other side of the island, said firefighters were a big help, but without air units at first, they could not tackle the fire. He said if they had brought the helicopters and planes immediately and had stayed for 6 or 7 hours straight, the fire would have been put out from the beginning on the first day. Anyway, a fire brigade official said he understood people who had lost their homes were upset, but he said firefighters had done all they could. The official also said all firefighters, all fire engines were in the front from the beginning. Now, Prime Minister Mitsotakis, the Greek Prime Minister, has publicly apologised for the delays in the firefighting effort and announced a €500 million relief package while defending his government's action. He told a news conference on Thursday, "I want to tell them that I completely understand that they feel both the pain and the disappointment and the desperation. I want to tell them they will not be unassisted and the state will be close to them." That appeared to offer little comfort to the residents of the island of Eva. A 53-year-old Anastasia, she said, that what can they give me? A loan to pay off? How can I pay it off? With what? She also said that her and her husband had built the house in Rivos and were making a small income from beehives and olive trees. All of that are now ashes. Everything burned. Our dreams burned. Our memories burned. Everything everything, she said. Not even one photograph from my dad's home is left. Also, Zoe Chastry, a 55-year-old pastry shop owner in Rovis, said that they had lived above their shop for the past 38 years. The wildfires had burned a big part of her shop after the police told her to evacuate. She said she was overwhelmed by the sadness and the anger when she returned to see what remained of her shop. Burned mixers and refrigerators. She said, we don't know what to expect now. We had so much equipment that it is really difficult for us to buy it all again from the beginning. It requires a lot of money that will not, it requires a lot of money that we will not receive. Anyway, meanwhile, the Greek finance minister, Christos Stakoulis, said on Friday that the Greek government will begin dispersing financial support to people and businesses hit by the wildfires in the next 2 weeks. Now, in his comments on Mega TV, Stakoulis said that enterprises hit by fires will be offered the first financial support, which is up to 20% of their turnover. The government has announced a series of relief measures, such as the suspension of tax and social insurance payments, financial support to the unemployed, freezing payment of special property tax, and of state loans offered during the pandemic. So again, people are bitter about what has gone on. Can I just say, first of all, not knocking the fire brigades at all across the country. It's at the end of the day, you can have the finest men putting out fires, but if they don't have the equipment and if they don't have the support, it seems the police were getting more support than what the fire brigades were getting. It's lucky that the casualties, the fatalities have been so low in Greece due to these fires, because trust me, if the casualties had been very much higher, I think Mitsotakis will be very much worried about re-election in the next coming elections, because that is what destroyed Tsipras and his re-election bid, was the fact that many people had died on his watch during fires. So again, at the moment, the Greek fire brigade is being reinforced from right across Europe, including Britain as well. But they're not out of the woods yet. And the way things are looking, this heat wave that is slowly creeping across from Italy is probably going to hit here at some point as well. So anyway, just please be extra vigilant. And if you do spot a fire or you do spot smoke, then please phone 199 199. Report it. Don't think somebody else may have reported it, but report it yourself, because you never know. Somebody may have missed it and you may be the person who's responsible for nipping a major fire in the bud. Anyway, going back to COVID again, intensive checks are being carried out by police again here, who are enforcing the COVID measures. On Thursday in Macardo, a foreigner was arrested and fined €5,000 for violating his quarantine from wherever he was staying. So once again, please, if you test positive and you decide that you are going to try and make a run for the airport or go somewhere, trust me, if you get caught, you're looking at a minimum of a €5,000 fine if you are caught. In addition, yesterday, up until the early morning hours, there were 22 violations in Corfu, 4 in Zakynthos for not using a mask by employees and customers in stores. Please, once again, just to remind you, you are still expected to wear a mask when you go into stores or go into a restaurant, and then when you sit down, you may then remove your mask to eat or to talk or to drink. All right, so please be aware, the police have been out and enforcing that, and if you're going into a shop as well, you are still expected to wear a mask when going into a shop. Also as well, in Corfu, there were 5 violations confirmed for not using a mask in vehicles where the passenger and driver were, and an administrative fine was put in of €150. So if you get into a vehicle, a taxi or whatever, you are still expected to wear a mask while in there, or if you go on public transport, you are still expected to wear a mask. So please do not get caught on that. And finally, a little bit of news again from Zakynthos, reference the turtles. A nice little article in Hermes News saying that research has shown that artificial lights that shine on the sea where turtles are spawning can have an effect of disorientating turtles as they make their little mad dash to the sea. Well, not a little mad dash for them at their size, it's a long way to go, making their dash for the sea. Now, the Archenon Association has taken action to alleviate this problem and has been providing information on what they do, in the fact that they actually protect the turtles where they are, and they actually put little shields up to stop the turtles from, once they dig themselves out of their little pit where they've been incubated for God knows how long, and they get themselves to the top. What they're looking for is the light of the moon, or the light of the moon shining on the sea. So what they do is they use old beach mats to basically create a path. So they block out any artificial light coming from streets, roads, restaurants, hotels, or whatever is around them, to make sure that they have an opportunity to make it towards the beach. Unfortunately, most of the Carretta's spawning beaches in Greece, many of the turtles are disorientated by stronger light sources from the streets, the restaurants, the bars, the hotel, and this leads many of them onto their death. Some of them actually go onto roads where they obviously get run over, or either that they might fall into grates as well, or embankments again, or they just get entangled in bushes as well that are also behind the backs of beaches, and so they lose that vital time and that energy, and they also get exposed to the sun as well, where they can also dehydrate while they're trying to make that dash for the sea. Anyway, so shading is put into areas to assist them, and extreme cases they may actually, under supervision, move the turtles to another location to give them a better run at the sea. However, that can be classed as being a bit controversial, but they obviously take special measures and only do that in a very, very major crisis. Anyway, one thing that happens once those little turtles get into the sea is that many of them are hunted by seabirds or fish. Very few survive to reproductive age, which is normally 25 to 30 years after they've been born. They will then come back to the location where they were spawned from. And at the moment, the estimates range that it's maybe 1 in 1,000 actually make it, but other figures are now saying that maybe 1 in 10,000 actually make it to adulthood, and then will then come back and spawn. Now listen, if you do encounter an unprotected nest that has hatches or turtles, you can contact the Archenon. What I will do, I will put that contact number on my YouTube posting, so you can actually contact them. There is a phone number for you to phone here on the island, and you can also send an email to rescue.archenon@gmail.com, and they will obviously look at what you have to say and then obviously make a decision from there. And also, if you want any information about the turtles, just to remind you that they have information tables set up at the Crystal Beach Hotel in Kalamaki, and they also have an information station in Solomon Square, which is manned most evenings by volunteers, where again you can go along and have a chat with them as to how the turtles are doing. One thing I do find fascinating is some of the turtles have actually been tagged with a radio beacon, so you can actually see where they have been and where they go as well, which I always find very, very interesting indeed. Also remember that certain companies like Nephis and TUI, they also have information on the turtles, and they have guides on their boats from the Archenon, who will give you a very, very good talk about the life cycle of the turtles and what is being done here on the island to protect them. And once again, the turtles here are absolutely fabulous creatures, beautiful creatures they are, and once again they're one of the reasons that we have the National Marine Park here in Zakynthos. Right, that's it from me, the news for today. Can I just say thank you to all those people tuning in? I've seen some very big comments being sent to me. Liz Saunders is watching. Nice to see you. Barbara Cocker says, morning, Ginge. Dennis Carhill is also watching as well. Debbie Wolfenstein is watching. Morning, Ginge. Looks like a nice day from Gaz Butler. No, it is a nice day. And at the moment, it's not too hot, even though you can hear the old crickets singing away, which means it's about 32 at the moment. Christine Brown is watching. Andrew Geach is watching from the top end of the island. Andy Orchard, first line responder over there in London, is watching. I wonder if he's sat in his ambulance listening to this. Heather Nash in Birmingham is looking in. Walter Van Egmond is also watching as well. I'm not sure where you're from, Walter, but thank you for tuning in anyway. I did see a big message from the old mate Reg Vardy, and I'm trying desperately to get down to it. Amanda says, morning, hun. Great buzz about the island yesterday. Yes, a great buzz indeed. Now that this restrictions or extended restrictions have been lifted, it just felt like old times last night. I'm just trying to find this long message that was given to me from Reg Vardy. I would like to reply to that. Anyway, listen, oh no, have I gone past it? Aaron Vardy says, I hope you and the people of Zakynthos get a normal day activities. Hope the pandemic hasn't dented Greeks' friendly hospitality towards their guests. Have a great season. Hope to see you. Oh, God, you're coming over. I hope to see you. I hope to see you next year. All right, we'll have to wait till next year then, Reg, but don't worry about that. It'll be great to see you when you get here. And also, Sam Curtis says, morning, Ginge. Lovely sunny day here in Brighton. Amazing dance anthems last night. Got another great list for you for tomorrow. I hope you and Jane are okay. Yes, thank you. And thank you, Sam. Your list, part of your list I used yesterday for the broadcast I recorded in the early hours of this morning, which I will send up the line at some point today. Fantastic. What a selection. Really, really nice. The comments on the music last night were just incredible. And thank you again. I appreciate your little list that you send me. It keeps me on my toes as well. Right. That's it from me. I will keep my ear to the ground. If I hear anything that I think is worthy of you knowing about, I will let you know. Thank you to all those people who came to me last night in the DJ booth, thanking me for the news broadcast, the information. And I'm amazed that people book their holidays on some of the stuff that I say. So again, I thank you for that. Once again, I just keep my ear to the ground and tell it as I see it. And sometimes maybe from a bit of a British side of it, because obviously that's where we're from. But all in all, we are doing okay here in Zakynthos at the moment. We could be better. Let's not cloud ourselves, but we are doing okay in comparison to other locations around the country. As I said before, luckily we have averted disaster. Don't forget, we've had our disasters with fire in the past here on the island, and at the moment the boys here are doing a fantastic job basically making sure that we don't have a repeat of some of the previous years that we've had here, and long may it stay that way as well. So anyway, that's it from me for today. I've got cleaning to do now, which I don't enjoy. Okay, it's cleaning the lounge today. So while Jane's down at the airport, I've got to pull everything out on the balcony, awaiting her return. And then we'll crack on and do more cleaning. Anyway, that's it from me. Real life there for you. I'll keep my ear to the ground. If I hear of anything, I'll let you know. Ta-ra. Have a good day. Bye.